Yeah, I learned a lot. I learned that guys can actually have tramp stamps, too. So.
Huh? Are you serious?
What is that all about, Larry? I don't... First of all, how do you discover that?
Ladies and gentlemen, below of America!
Oh my God, we don't have an investigation plan for this weekend. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It's like, get a life. That's what you're going to do.
Let me just pretend for a minute that I'm one of those people. Now imagine me just staring off into blank space, right?
Larry, we're going to get in so much trouble.
Think of all the best parts of some of the different movies that are out there, and then just imagine this.
You know what? Let's just keep moving forward at light speed, and whoever keeps up. Whoever doesn't, screw them.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Banal of America Audio, with your host, Tim Banal.
What is going on, my friends? This is Tim Banal of banalofamerica.com with another edition of BOAA Audio Season 6. Got a lot to talk about here at the beginning of the show, so let's just get into the madness. First of all, I want to give big thanks, of course, to our buddy Pete Diggins for providing the theme music to this installment of the program. Check out Pete's website, www.aurophonic.com, AUROPHONIC.com. Now, I want to address some unfortunate news, and that is, of course, the passing of a couple of big names here in the world of the paranormal over the last few days. First of all, this past weekend, the world of abduction research lost its veritable founder in the legendary Bud Hopkins. I was really honored to have the opportunity to speak with Bud 2 years ago for BOA Audio Season 4. It was a thrilling conversation for me. I really loved his book, Art, Life, and UFOs, and thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. He was a tremendous force in the world of not just UFO studies, but also the world of the paranormal at large, and he will be greatly, greatly missed, and his family should be tremendously proud of what he accomplished. He changed the world, my friends. Bud Hopkins, a true esoteric icon. My heart and thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family. Additionally, I would be remiss if I did not remember another person that passed away this past week, and that was Stuart Miller from the UK. He was the man behind Alien Worlds as well as UFO Review. Unfortunately, his passing just slipped right past me. Happened towards the end of this past week, and I hadn't really heard about it until the weekend. Stuart Miller did some yeoman's work in the world of ufology and the paranormal, getting out tons and tons of news stories day after day with UFO Review. And what many people probably don't realize is that Stuart Miller was one of the very early supporters of BOA and BOA Audio. He was really a big help in getting the word out about this program when we were first starting out, and I always remembered that. And when I read the news about Stuart Miller passing away, I was just really saddened by it. I was really wishing that I had been in better touch with him in the last few years. So, much like with Bud Hopkins, my heart and thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and family of Stuart Miller. He will be greatly missed as well. Now let's try and turn these frowns upside down and get into the business here of this week's installment of BOA Audio. Our guests are mainstays of the program, Larry Flaxman and Marie Jones, and they are returning for their annual Paranormal Jam session. And in this year's installment, we're going to cover their new book, The Trinity Secret, and all the weirdness surrounding the number 3. From there, then, we're going to go completely off the page, and it just turns into a free-flowing conversation in a huge way as we get into their thoughts and feelings about the problems and annoyances surrounding the world of ghost hunting and the paranormal community as a whole. Really, it was almost difficult for me to write the trademark BOA recap on the BOA show page for this one, because this thing just sort of flowed. There weren't really questions or anything. It was just sort of a natural conversation, and we touch on a whole bunch of stuff. We turn around and go back to stuff. We really just sort of let the conversation flow wherever it wants to go. Marie and Larry have been on the program so many times by now that, to be quite honest, and I think you may notice this once you start listening to the episode, it actually kind of was weird for us just to sort of get going on the program, because we'd spent the first 10 minutes goofing around and talking, and then it was like, well, we better start taping this show so people can start listening to this. So it was like all of a sudden we kind of all got stiff and realized we were being listened to, if you will. But that melts away as we get going into the conversation, and then it's right back to where we were when we all got on the phone at the beginning, and it's just unbelievable. It really is quite the conversation with Marie and Larry. It's no holds barred from them, and me as well, as we get into stuff that gets on our nerves here in the world of esoterica. Altogether, really, it is a tremendously raw edition of the program, which takes you to the proverbial hotel bar as we keep it real with Marie Jones and Larry Flaxman. I know that's a figure of speech, but trust me, my friends, this one really is as real can get. This is what a true conversation amongst the three of us sounds like, and it is all over the place, but incredibly enlightening as to how these tremendous researchers of the paranormal feel about their place in the community and the community as a whole. Given that this is a dual guest episode, we're going to do an end run here around the bios for the two guests. Of course, Marie Jones is the author of Science, and Larry is the founder of Our Past, the Arkansas Paranormal and Anomalous Studies team. Collectively, they've written a number of books, including 1111, The Time Prompt Phenomenon, The Deja Vu Enigma, The Resonance Key, and their latest book, The Trinity Secret. Collectively, they are known as the Para Explorers, and you can find out more from them at their website, www.paraexplorers.com. Check it out. So with all that said, let's get down to business and rock and roll. This interview was recorded on June 20th, 2011. Larry Flaxman and Marie Jones talking about the Trinity Secret and their take on the world of paranormal studies on BOA Audio Season 6. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of BOA Audio Season 6, and it is our annual tradition here on the program, welcoming back two of our good buddies here on the program. I could spend a large portion of the interview just talking about how fantastic they are. Marie, I believe this is her fourth time on the show, Marie Jones, and folks, she is absolutely amazing, and I hate to use this qualifier, but I'm going to say it because it bears saying. Genre for genre, she is the very best of the women in the world of esoterica. She is just so sharp and doing such amazing research, and I put her over all the time to people, always, and I'm always recommending her stuff. So she's back on the show. She's blushing like crazy, I'm sure, right now, and Larry's probably trying to stifle a giggle. No, I'm just
trying to figure out how much I owe you later.
And then there's Larry. No, I'm just kidding. Larry Flaxman.
Oh, boy.
I can honestly say I have more fun talking to Larry every year than just about any guest we have on the show. I have so many laughs, and it's not just that he's so funny and sharp and quick. It's that he understands this genre in a way that a lot of people don't, and he doesn't take it too seriously, but at the same time, he takes it very seriously with regards to trying to get to the bottom of what's behind all this. So, you know, Larry, you know, he comes off as, he's got the banal vibe. I've heard people say that, you know, I sort of come off as the everyman. Larry does too, and that's why I love talking to him so much. So, you know, those are my deeply personal introductions for my good friends. What is going on over there, Larry? What are you, washing your dishes or something?
Larry, what are you doing?
No, that's not me. I'm sitting here in my chair. I'm not doing anything.
Uh-oh. We have a spirit on the line.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Larry, put the pork rinds down and let's get down to business here. Oh God! So,
no, there has been no pork rinds.
You settling in your chair? I don't know what's going on. But anyway, those are my introductions for my good buddies here. Marie, welcome back to the show. Larry, welcome back. Also, love talking to you guys. Can't wait to get down to business.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Tim.
Oh, my pleasure. Please, you kidding me? As soon as I sat down to start scheduling the interviews here for the summer, I was like, I got to get these guys on the line. Now, you got a new book, came out this spring. It's called The Trinity. I guess, that sort of fills in the blanks of what you guys have been up to in the past year. But before we get into The Trinity, it's been a year. How have you been and what's been going on? And
brother.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll start with you, Marie, since you
oh, gee, thanks.
Since you started there.
Burnout, exhausted, working my ass off. What else do you expect from me, Tim?
Absolutely, yeah.
My fingers in about 8,000 different pies.
Well,
Same old.
What's that?
Same old thing.
There you go. All right. She's teasing us here with other exciting things that we're going to get into here over the course of the show. How about you, Larry? What's been going on with you, buddy? How you been?
Good. About the same. It seems like Marie and I always have some huge project that we're working on, and since last time we've talked to you, that's definitely no different. So we've been staying really busy. Very, very, very busy. And it's been so damn hot. Is it hot where you are?
It's pretty hot. Yeah, it was like in the 90s today.
Yeah. I'm in Southern California. Beautiful.
Marie's got it like made where she's at, but yeah, it's like super freaking hot here.
Yeah, it's hot. But Marie lives in the biodome that is San Diego.
The perfect weather.
Yeah, until Christmas time, and then it's like, Christmas lights on palm trees, and you want to,
yeah, that is
you want to cry.
That is true. Every now and then we get a little bit of wind, but yeah.
So, all right, so the what you've been up to, I'm sure we're going to end up getting into here. So how about the Trinity? Let's talk about this. Now, in the past, we've had you on the show. Sometimes, you attribute the origins of the book to the publisher's idea, or other times it comes from you guys, and we've explored that in a number of ways here on the show. So what's the story behind the Trinity? How did this come about this time around?
This was our idea. We had finished the Deja Vu Enigma, and we decided to offer a new page. We wanted a 2-book deal. We wanted to lock in 2 books. Mm-hmm. And so the Trinity Secret was something that we kind of got into a little bit in 1111.
Oh, yeah.
The number 3. And we kept thinking, we really need to go back to that. There's a lot of stuff that we just don't have time now to cover, but there's really something interesting about this number 3. So when the opportunity came after Deja Vu Enigma came out, we thought, all right, let's go ahead and do this. So it was our idea. It's funny because I was just thinking about this before. It's almost like every other book is our idea or the publisher's idea.
Yeah.
We have one that we're working on now that the publisher suggested to us. So.
Nice. All right. So, yeah, I can see how this would come organically from 1111, because 1111, as we talked about on the show when you guys were on to cover that book, covers not just obviously 1111, but all the different numbers and permutations. It's a fantastic book. I love that book because I learned so much in there, about numbers, and it's exciting that you sort of just then expand it into this new book.
Yes, we didn't have enough room to really get into one particular number. So I guess we tucked in the back of our minds that we might want to revisit later the number 3 specifically, just because it is so pervasive. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Well, what do you make of that? Because that's obviously sort of like you said, was kind of what kickstarted a lot of this. We'll go to Larry here on this
Larry.
one. Larry, what makes the Trinity, or as I like to call it, based on the back of your book, the Triune?
Triune.
Yeah. So,
is that going to be your favorite word now?
Triune.
I'm gonna try and work it into conversations now.
But let's do that. Yeah.
What makes the Triune so damn popular?
It's such a cool word, How many other words could you possibly have that sounds as cool as that?
Oh, Larry.
Now, what makes it so popular? The thing that makes it so popular is its pervasiveness. It seems like everything revolves around 3s. It seems like there's the triadic nature of reality itself revolves around 3. And think about the 3 little bears. Let's see, what are some other good examples of 3s that we're all familiar with? Beyond
Manny,
what's in the
Mo,
book, the
Jack.
Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. There's what, Marie?
Manny, Mo, and Jack.
Yeah,
No,
there
Curly.
you go.
What is it? Larry,
Mo
and Curly.
Curly and Mo. Larry, Curly, and Mo. 3, it seems to be a part of everything. So, when you ask what's so significant about the triune nature, that's what it is. Everyone has some type of a story that they can relate to something happening with a 3. You know, there's good, bad, and worse. Someone always has a story about, you know, something involving 3.
Comes in 3s, yeah. 13.
Yeah, things come in 3s.
Yeah.
People, right? Everyone, whoever you talk to, ask them, you know, what experience have they had with something with 3? And undoubtedly, someone will have some type of experience that they can relate to that involves 3.
Now, I'll play devil's advocate here, just because, you know, but maybe that's just because it's a simple number and it evolved that way from like cave people and stuff like that. Like I watch Idiot Abroad. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but
no.
Oh, it's a very funny show. But anyway, like the host, he's kind of a moron. Let's say was an idiot. This show's an Idiot Abroad, and he said at some point, because he was visiting like this tribe in Africa, and he was like, you know, people this simple, they really only need to know they only need to be able to count up to 3, because you know, once it's
right.
just, you
After
know,
3 is just many. It was 1, 2, 3, and many.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
Maybe that's ingrained in us, though.
It goes way beyond that because we are a species that lives with duality.
Mm-hmm.
Dark, light, good, evil, day, night, you know, opposites. And so the number 3 is the unifier of opposites. And that is why it's widely recognized in every religion, in every culture's mythology, in their creation stories, their origin myths. They revere the number 3. If you look at the yin-yang symbol, it's a perfect example. You've got the 2 dualities, but they're encompassed in one circle. And that circle itself is like the 3rd unifying element. So 3 has long been considered the perfect number. And yeah, again, it's a very simple concept, but it's also very profound. And it was one that was recognized by, you know, most of the real wise sages throughout the years.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. So this reverence of the Trinity goes back even beyond probably, well, certainly I'm sure the, you know, the
way back,
the religious trappings of the Holy Trinity.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the Catholics, you know, they borrowed from paganism straight on through.
Yeah.
I mean, most traditional religions did, but the 3 was, it was probably a very primitive concept as well. You know, birth, life, death. They would look around at the cycles of nature and they would see that it sort of had a 3-fold nature to it.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. You talk about that in the book, that it's not just this like man-made concept, the importance and sort of the pervasiveness of the 3. It happens around us whether we want it to or not, whether we,
right.
You know, whether we conceive of it or not.
Yeah, I don't think it was forced, where like the number 7, I think is a human-driven popular number.
Yeah.
And in other words, there's no real natural or organic reason why the number 7 should be important, except that somebody decided it was a lucky number and it just sort of took.
Mm-hmm.
But with the number 3, it was something primitive people could actually see. And it represented creation itself, how the process worked, the 3 levels of creation. We have 3 different brains. We've got 3 levels of consciousness. You know, it goes all the way through into science, mythology, religion, philosophy, genetics.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Marie's spot on. I mean, you know, going back to your question too, you never hear about people having experiences with 2s. You know, you never hear anyone having some type of a significant event in their life that 2, it revolves around 2s or 5s or 6s or 7s. You know, it's always 3 is definitely the most prevalent and the most ingrained into who we are. I mean, most people, like I said before, when you ask them about experiences with numbers, you know, 3 undoubtedly is going to be one of the most popular ones.
or something will have happened to them 3 times. I mean, Larry mentioned before, fairy tales and folklore, even our human language is embedded with 3s. And there's a reason why there's 3 bears, 3 little pigs, 3 kittens, 3 billy goats, 3 wishes, 3 challenges, 3 obstacles, because subconsciously that symbol is understood to be the progress towards perfection. Just, again, it unifies duality. So if you have 2 little pigs, it's not going to be as effective. You need that 3rd little pig that brings together the resourcefulness, the wisdom, the strength, the courage of the other 2 combined in order to finally reach perfection and overcome the obstacle. And that is pervasive, again, in our storytelling, where you have 3-act structure, beginning, middle, end.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of the hero's journey, where you have initiation, challenge, culmination. It's just everywhere. And I think we relate to that. In telling the stories of our own lives, we kind of understand our lives have 3 parts to them.
Yeah. Now, I'm hesitant to get into the quote-unquote secret of the book, but I have a feeling that having read aspects of that in the book, I was surprised sort of the path he went down in a way.
Yeah, so were we.
Definitely.
Seriously. I mean, Larry and I were like, whoa, this is really different for us, but it felt right. We're trying to branch out into a lot of different directions. And it was kind of organic. We started out with numbers, and then we got into the symbolism of that number, and then you find out how incredibly profound and simple it is, and it pretty much describes the act of, or the process of creation itself. And I really think that the Roman Catholics understood that when they adopted their version of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I think they just changed the language around a little bit, but it's the same process.
The really interesting thing to me when we were writing the book too was the amount of other religions that have also adopted some type of ideology involving the number 3. I mean, my background is I'm Jewish, right? So I didn't think there was anything in my religious background that involved the number 3. I thought, the Trinity is strictly a Catholic type concept. And boy, was I wrong. I mean, there is absolutely. There's a lot of writing about the number 3 in the Jewish Kabbalah, which I had absolutely no idea about. But as we did the research for the book and we started to get more exposure to not only the religious implications of 3, but all implications of 3. I mean, it was just fascinating, and to be able to, for myself, probably the most enriching part of writing the book really was doing the research and just learning about how other religions have these same type of basic ideas about the number 3. They all call it different things, but it all basically refers to the same type concept.
And what I like about you guys, and I talked about this when we did the 1111 book, is that you really do dig into this stuff and come up with such amazing information. Like, has anyone, like, before we talked about it, and like the other book was just numbers really, and it was like, but no one's thought to go down this path as far as I knew, and I'm sure in disparate areas they had. So I mean, has 3 been explored to the extent that you guys have done with this book?
Hell no.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, I don't think so.
No, I mean, we are groundbreakers. But I mean, we are. What we do is we take a subject matter, we compile everything we can find that's related to it.
Yeah.
We pack it into one book, and we blow people's minds because nobody is willing to do that kind of research. They may take one aspect of it. I have a bunch of books on the Trinity that are written from a religious perspective.
Right.
I have one from a philosophical perspective. None really take on all of the different types of symbolism that we did. So, I mean, we're not bragging, but one of the reasons why we agreed to work together was to do this very thing. It's like, you know what? Nobody's making an awful lot of inroads in certain areas, so let's go do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't feel bad and say, that you're not bragging or whatever. I mean, you deserve the praise.
Bragging.
But I'm serious. You do some amazing stuff here and stuff that a lot of people just wouldn't put the work in to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the numbers book, if I tried to write that, I would have given up like halfway through, maybe a quarter of the way through.
You know what else, though, Tim, that people tell us is that they always say, I never would have made the same connections. How did you make that connection? That's brilliant. And that is what we're really good at. It's we're finding connections and links, even if, the stuff that we do that's a little more paranormal oriented.
Right.
And I think it's kind of put us outside the middle of the paranormal community, if you will, because we're not just sticking to the tried and true.
Right,
so
right.
we have fans, but we also have people that think that, they're not, they don't know anything. They're not really involved in the paranormal. But it's like, wait a second. We are. We're just taking it to the next level that you guys can't even make the connections to.
Yeah, we're keeping it real.
Exactly.
Keeping it real. But also seeing beyond what's going on, right in front of everybody's noses. You got to look a little bit further down the road.
Exactly. I'm just, that angers me to think that people in the paranormal community would say that. Those people that think that, they're playing checkers while you guys are playing chess. And that's really what's going on here with these books. So,
it's really frustrating. For both of us, especially the last couple of months, I felt a real need to just get away from that entire community because they're spinning their wheels and, you try to encourage them to come off that hamster wheel and they just do not want to get off of it.
No, but Marie, if you look at it from the bigger perspective, look at all the problems that are in the community as a whole, and look how many times that that there's been people that have brought that to the public eye, and how many times has that actually changed? It hasn't.
No, I know.
The paranormal community, unfortunately, as I know we're both a part of, but unfortunately, we're our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
Not you and me, our own worst enemies, but you know what I mean. The community as a whole.
Community at large, yeah. It's
right.
focused on fame and
it is. I think for the most part, a lot of these people have lost. Well, okay. Let me say. I think a lot of the people that are involved in the field have either never had the true motivation in the first place.
Right.
In other words, they watch these shows on TV and they think, oh, cool, I'm going to be a ghost hunter and get my own TV show and not work for a plumbing company anymore, right? Or, right, or they've lost sight of it along the way. They've started with good intentions and, they've really been interested in finding answers to things, but somehow on the journey they've gotten sidetracked.
Yeah.
And it's very, very unfortunate. You see this every single day. If you look on Facebook, you see all these groups that start up and then disband almost on a daily basis. And there's so much drama and so much crap in the paranormal field. Tim, I know we've talked about that on other shows, so we're not going to belabor the obvious on that. But I think it really speaks to the point of the closed-mindedness of the community as a whole.
Yeah, and also, the image thing. It's getting really sickening where everybody has to have a publicity picture where they look like thugs.
They have their arms crossed.
Leaning back with their arms folded
in front of you. Yep.
The girls are all turned to the side, and pushing their cleavage together. It's like, come on. Right. Do any of you have a clue what you are doing? You all look pretty. You all look good. Do you know what the hell you're doing? And the answer is no.
Right.
I saw one the other day. I meant to forward you this picture, Marie, because it's awesome. It's these two dudes assuming the gangsta pose, and it's a paranormal group. I won't say where. It was in the Midwest.
You just said
assuming the gangsta pose. They've got their arms crossed and they're looking all bowed up and cheesy and stuff, and they've got grills in. I'm serious.
My God.
I do not. Their mouths open. They're not smiling, but you could clearly see that they both have grills. And I'm thinking, gangster paranormal.
Yep.
Or
they're getting a theme song, or they've got their line of products.
Yeah, they have a logo. They have a logo before they've done anything.
Yeah.
And you know what, Marie? Maybe we're missing out. Maybe we should do that.
But we probably would make more money, but I don't want to stoop that low. I'm sorry. I do have a little.
You don't want a gold grill? But we're talking a gold grill.
You know what, Larry? We bust our asses to do what we're doing, and.
Well, you guys are going to be around, and these people, these are Johnny-come-latelys that are here to, why they're still hanging on to this ghost thing is beyond me. But
it's frustrating.
Marie, would you think less of me if I got a grill?
I would think that you were a jackass if you got a grill.
Oh, man. That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to come off as some douche. I just want to look like a cool gangsta paranormal guy.
Then you know what you need to do, Larry? Larry, you need to take the middle part of your hair at the top and put some gel in it and make it stick up so you look like a duck. That's what you need to do.
All right, I'm going to try that tomorrow. We'll see if that works.
No, I mean,
my
Tim,
God.
really, we talk about this a lot. We're very frustrated.
I'm happy to talk about it because, I'm more than happy to share my opinions on this, and I'm in agreement with you guys. It's ridiculous.
And it's not getting any better. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're feeling like, you know what, let's just keep moving forward at light speed, and whoever keeps up, whoever doesn't, screw them.
Right. Now, at the risk of, well, I guess I was going to say one thing, and then I sort of contradicted myself in my mind before I said it. So, but at the risk of pigeonholing one sort of genre, do you think this is mostly the ghost hunting? And then as I was sort of coming up with that, I also remembered how ornery I got at the conspiracy people about 6 weeks ago when Osama bin Laden was captured or killed or whatever, and they all freaked out.
They're crazy too.
Yeah, they had their own thing going on.
I don't see it as much in the UFO field. I'm sure it's there.
Hell no! If you look at MUFON, look at an organization like that. You've got a governing body. They have controls in place. They have a methodology. That group has matured exponentially in the however many years it's been in existence. And you have this large body that basically sets the standards for how they investigate stuff. Well, the paranormal field, we have no such beast. There's been lots and lots of talk about creating these consortiums of sort and these unifying organizations. But the plain and simple fact is, it's an awesome idea. If the paranormal field had some controls in place, in other words, if there was some sort of a governing body that created standards for data analysis and for simple management of the group, and how to analyze data, things like that.
Right.
It's an awesome idea, but the simple fact is it'll never happen. There's way too many egos in the field. There's a lot of these people, it's mom and pop. They're on a shoestring budget. They don't have the money to spend on the types of equipment, standardized equipment that this governing body would tell you that you need to be able to use, and people aren't going to do it. And a lot of the groups that I come in contact with, this is not a research endeavor for them. This is very much a
hobby,
a social event.
Yeah,
this is for lack of a better term. It's a way to go out on Saturday night, have a shitload of fun, and come home scared.
Yeah.
That's just a way that they can. That's how they get off on a Saturday night. And you can't relate with a group like that. You can't try to put controls on an organization like that because it's not even in the same.
Their motivation is different. Their
Absolutely.
agenda is different.
Absolutely.
And Larry and I wrote an article for Taps magazine a while back on the addictive nature of ghost hunting, because you get that cortisol and the adrenaline going.
Yeah.
It actually does become addictive. It's like gambling. So you have a lot of people that just, I saw something on Facebook a couple of days ago. Oh, my God, we don't have an investigation plan for this weekend. Oh, my God, what am I going to do? It's like, get a life. That's what you're going to do. And it just tripped me out. It's like, oh, man, if I ever get like that, shoot me. But it is. For a lot of people, this is social, it's fun, and that's okay. But do not present yourself as being serious and scientific. Say the truth. We are a social group. We love to go out and ghost hunt. We have a blast, but we're not that serious about it.
Right, exactly. The guys playing down the park, playing a game of pickup basketball, they're not in the NBA. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Another thing too, Larry, why this probably doesn't happen in the UFO field is because the immediacy of the experience is gone.
Right.
So, when you go investigate a UFO report, it's already happened.
Sure.
Whereas you go on a ghost hunt, and something might actually happen while you're there. So it's a whole different ball game.
Right. We're talking about almost like a phenomenon in a way, which is the social part of what you're saying.
The idea that maybe something will happen tonight at this location. Whereas in MUFON, we went out days after the sighting sometimes, and you just interview people and you look for physical traces, but the immediacy is not there, and I think that's what gets people hooked.
Yeah, I think so too.
By the way, Tim, Larry and I met for the first time ever in Atlanta last weekend.
Wow, that was the first time you guys ever met?
First time ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should have got that grill, Larry.
I
know, really,
biggest
right?
douchebag. No.
Yeah.
No, it was a blast. It was such a blast. It really was.
Wow.
It was definitely a very seminal trip. I learned a lot. I learned that guys can actually have tramp stamps too. So.
Huh? Are you serious?
What is that all about, Larry? First of all, how do you discover that?
Well, there was a dude that was obviously, and I'm not trying to insult any of your homosexual listeners, but there was a guy that was obviously very gay that was walking around the conference with a very, very short, like a belly shirt like you'd see on a female. This was a guy. But he had a tramp stamp, a dude.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Did you not see that guy, Marie?
Of it. I didn't see him.
Yeah. I think he was running around with the well-known psychic's entourage.
Oh,
there.
Okay. Yeah.
Jesus.
No, we had a good time. It was a good conference.
It was pretty awesome.
Really.
Did you know that, Tim? Did you know guys actually get tramp stamps?
No, this is news to me. This is news to me.
Yeah, it totally was to me, too.
Well,
maybe it's Atlanta phenomena.
He's a male tramp.
Well, I've not seen it in Arkansas. Maybe that is specifically an Atlanta type thing.
He's a mamp, a male tramp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that really pops up much in Arkansas, I'm guessing.
No, I didn't see that. I missed that.
No. Well, you missed out on that one.
Larry,
No, it was an awesome conference. We got to meet for the first time. We presented an amazing presentation. An amazing 2-hour presentation.
Now, what was this? Let's talk about this. Now, I feel bad because I mean, the new book Trinity, it's amazing, but I haven't talked to you guys in a year, and there's tons of.
We got a lot of catching up to do.
As I said before the show started, you got a lot of fucking shit going on here, and
let's get a banner that says that. Larry Flaxman, Marie Jones, Pair Explorers. They've got a lot of fucking shit going on.
I like it.
That's going to be our motto.
Now, yeah, I'm serious though. You guys, I went to the website. You have tons going on there. So let's sort of we'll probably go back to Trinity one more time. But where can folks get it? Obviously, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all that stuff, right?
Everywhere books are sold. It is a real book. It is not a self-published book. That's another thing that's bothering me lately is every idiot's got a book out, and you really need to write a book about the ghosts of.
Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
Right. I'm an author. Oh, really? Who's your publisher? Well, I'm self-published. Oh, good for you.
Kinko's is my publisher.
Yeah.
Well, that's partially, why I don't have any books yet. I'm waiting for the good book deal.
You know what? It's not that every self-published book is bad.
No, not at all.
What happens is you're oversaturating the market with crap so that it gets really, really hard to identify the good self-published books. And in a lot of cases, if you can't get a traditional publisher, it probably wasn't worth publishing in the first. I mean, it's different for fiction. That's a whole different ballgame. But, with these paranormal books, I've seen some that look pretty decent, and I've seen some that look like, they stapled construction paper together.
Oh, you're talking about even the actual construction of it.
Yeah, the
production.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's some excellent self-published books out there. We don't mean to diss on people, but at the same time, it goes back to what we're saying about standards, and we don't want to be like the police of the paranormal. It's like I stand firmly against that whole thing, but at the same time, I wish sort of like there was a little more. The idea of, I guess, consumers vote with their dollar, or people who are interested vote with their time of investment.
Right. Yeah, it's, the bar has been lowered so much in this field that, everybody's got a book out, everybody's got a CD or a DVD of their investigation of, the warehouse down the street last night, and it's like, you know what? How do we take anything seriously when we're just throwing every damn thing out there? It's I don't know. It's frustrating to me because I think that oversaturation of material, how are people who really have an interest in this field going to find the good stuff when they're just overwhelmed with crap?
Well, here's an interesting sort of point, and I know Larry. Obviously, Larry, I'm sure now that you're this highfalutin author and paranormal celebrity that you don't have as much time as you'd like to devote to the ghost hunts and stuff. But I know that you used to dabble in that realm. So
yeah, no, I still do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was trying to put you over as some kind of highfalutin celebrity, Larry. You're not helping me here.
Oh well, no.
No, Tim.
I eat pork rinds. Remember?
What's that?
Remember, I eat pork rinds.
Yeah, he's a pork rind eating para-celeb.
I felt for a while that sort of the UFO field has reached this level of, I guess you could say, scientific inquiry saturation. You know, we can't go any further with this anymore.
Yeah,
and I feel like, I'm wondering, you know, why hasn't the ghost field reached that level yet? Because no matter, I guess maybe it's this deeply personal thing. Like if you and your two friends go out and you do a ghost hunt, then, you know, that EVP is your EVP. You know, it's better than all the other ones. But at the same time, it's like across the board, if you couldn't have asked for a better, I wish the UFO phenomenon had this kind of popularity in a sense, because maybe then we'd crack the case open. Because if you think about it, there must be hundreds of people out there every weekend trying to get ghost evidence, and it's been going on for 5 to 6 years at least, and they have come up with squadoosh. Nothing.
But you know why, Tim? I'll tell you why. It's because the people in the ghost field, all they give a damn about is evidence and data. They don't take it to the next step, except for people like us. In the UFO field, you have a lot of people who are really trying to put the science to the phenomenon, but you get to a certain point where you just, you know, you run out of theories because we can't prove anything, but they're still trying. I do not see that same thing going on in the ghost hunting field. Nobody is working on theories except for people who are on the perimeter like us.
All right, well, I'm going to turn my rant mode on for just a minute.
Nice. Fire it up.
Here's another issue that I have, and this pisses me off endlessly. There are all these groups that are out there that claim to be scientific, you know, that they approach things from a scientific perspective. And as a person that runs an organization that truly does approach things as much as possible, and of course it's impossible to do it 100% strictly because you don't have control over every variable like you really should.
Right.
But we do as close as physically possible. Right. It pisses me off that there's all these groups that are out there saying we are a scientific-based research organization, and then you start asking, well, tell me a little bit about your methodology. How do you attempt to control the environment? What exactly are you studying? How are you analyzing this data? And you get these blank, dumb stares. You know, these are people that are talking about having this scientific background that don't have a college degree more than likely, and they sure as hell don't have any kind of a science background. Even, you know, chemistry 101 or physics 101 is, you know, way beyond them. I speak at a lot of conferences. Marie does too, but I speak at a lot of conferences, and I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a conference and I've spoken about ghost hunting from a scientific perspective. And, you know, we talked about earlier how one of the things that I think differentiates Marie and my ability from everyone else out there is that we're able to take these very complex topics and make them very simple to digest and understand.
Absolutely.
I go to these conferences and I try to talk about the science of ghost hunting from a physics perspective, but making it as easy as possible for these people to understand it. And I look out into the audience, Tim, and I swear to God, I see blank stares. I see people that are just, you know, they're tapping their fingers, they're looking straight ahead, they're, you know, people falling asleep, and it's not because I'm a boring speaker, it's because they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But yet they're in a scientific group.
Larry, didn't you tell me that somebody once said to you that they were scientific because they had equipment? Are you the one who told me that?
Yeah,
so
I did.
That's the criteria for being scientific,
I bought
that you have
$49. I went out and bought a $49 K2 meter off eBay. So by God, my group is scientific now.
Right, that's the criteria, and it's like, wait a second, you know, do you have a clue what you're doing?
No, here's the second part of my rant, too. Beyond these groups have no scientific clue whatsoever, you also have the same type of mindset of folks that have absolutely no understanding whatsoever of environmental dynamics. They're looking for very specific things using very specific specialized equipment. Let's take the EMF meter, for instance. You see every ghost hunter on TV carrying around an EMF meter, right? The thing goes off and they all freak out because there's a ghost right there that's about to manifest. No, it is not. First of all, an EMF meter was designed, the purpose of an EMF meter was for basically two things. It was to detect stray radiation from microwaves, and it was also more primarily designed for electrical functions, looking for ungrounded breaker boxes, looking for electrical wiring anomalies, things like that. What makes you think that a ghost is a is a 60 hertz entity. You know, a 110 volt AC line, an EMF meter is going to pick up. Why do you think that has anything to do with what a ghost or spirit or whatever it is is? So they're using these pieces of equipment incorrectly, but more importantly, they're using the wrong pieces of equipment. I think, and Marie and me have written very extensively about this, I think we're looking in the wrong place, and that's something that ghost hunters have just not gotten. They've completely embraced what they've seen on TV. They've just not gotten it through their heads that, you know what, guys, we've been doing this we've been doing this since the 1860s, basically since the birth of the spiritualist movement. So we've been doing this for well over 100 years now, 150 years of paranormal research. And Tim, like you said, we don't have, what did you say? You had the word douche in there.
Squadouche.
Yeah, we have squadouche to show for it. You know, that to me would signal a very bright beacon that we're either doing something wrong or we're looking in the wrong place. You know, maybe we're using all these great pieces of technology. We have these great ideas of how to analyze data, but you know what? We're looking in the wrong place at the wrong thing. We're going to get the wrong answers.
Well, then what do you suggest? Where is the right place to look then?
What is the one thing, I'm asking you this, Tim.
Okay.
On every paranormal event, every single paranormal phenomena that's ever been reported from the beginning of time, go all the way back to the beginning of time when the first ghost was seen, back to caveman days.
Okay.
What is the one thing that's present in every single one of those encounters? Every one of those encounters.
One common denominator.
The witness?
Absolutely. You as the observer.
Mm-hmm.
That is not being studied in the paranormal field. And the groups that are studying it are studying a very, 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 very limited subset of that.
Right.
We play a very integral role in the manifestation of these things, or the perceived manifestation of these things. How many groups do you know of that are actually doing any type of EEG research on their investigators during an investigation? How many groups do you know that are actually studying dopamine levels in the brain during a paranormal event, or studying things that are actually happening physiologically to us when these events are supposedly occurring? None. There's very few groups out there, with the exception of mine and maybe one or two other groups, that are doing anything like that. That's why there's no answers. We're looking in the wrong place. People are looking for an external phenomena, and I'm not saying that ghosts may not be some type of an external phenomena, but we're focusing 100% on checking for stray AC voltage and things when, you know, the thing that's much, much more blatant and much, much more obvious, we're not even paying attention to whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thankfully I've heard that sort of perspective growing in recent years. So it's not like this hasn't been lost on the more, you know, progressive thinkers in the world of paranormal. I'm not even talking about I'm talking more. I hear that from people in the UFO community than the. I try not to even get involved with the ghost community. They're gross. Like Jersey Shore, you know. Like I feel like they're like all like people from the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a big reality show, you know.
Right. Like they're all out at dance clubs or something after they go out ghost hunting. Or they're just too young.
The real world.
Crazy for me. Yeah.
The real world paranormal. Yeah, but you know another thing too is. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Tim, did you see that they ghost hunters had the Real Housewives of whatever on one of their shows?
That was ridiculous.
Oh, God. See, you know, I mean...
They had them as guest investigators on one of their shows. I mean, really?
Well, in a way, I feel like it in a way, too, it's sort of, I kind of laugh in a sense that they have, like, the celebrity ghost story show now, because now it's like, haha, you silly weekend ghost hunters, they've taken it away from you. You're not even important enough with your ghost stories anymore. Now the celebrities are taking it.
Right.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
You're listening to Banal of America Audio.
You have been a participant in the biggest interdimensional cross-rip since the Tunguska blast of 1909.
Felt great.
We'd like to get a sample of your brain tissue.
Okay.
I just keep waiting for this bubble to burst, but apparently they have some new ghost hunting show where teams of ghosts. You should watch this one, Larry. It would really make your blood.
Paranormal Challenge.
Yes. Have you heard of this one, Larry?
Yeah, absolutely. My friend John Oliver was telling me about that at the conference last weekend. He was telling me a little bit about it. I mean, it sounds like a cool idea. He was like, "Yeah, man, you should be a judge on this." Well, here's my deal with that. I'm not qualified to be a judge. I don't think anyone that's on the show is qualified to be a judge. How do you judge a group's methodology and a group's research potential and how they're actually conducting investigation when we don't even know what the hell we're even studying? How can you act as a subject matter expert in a subject that there are no experts in?
Right. Well, I'll have to send the review I read to you guys because it was interesting. It was. I wish I had sent it earlier.
Yeah, I actually watched the show.
I heard it was very sexist, actually. Maybe you can speak to that. I heard like that it was like boys versus girls, and there was a lot of like
ridiculous.
Sort of crass remarks about the lady ghost hunters, which is sort of like it just goes back to what I feel like is this juvenile nature of what ghost hunting has become.
Yeah, I may actually be on, and if I am,
oh no, really,
I am going to use it as a soapbox to really lay down the gauntlet. That's
why have they invited you on, or is this just?
I was asked to possibly go on, but the only, I was telling Larry, well, should I? But I'm thinking if that happens, the only way I'm going to do it is if I have the opportunity to speak my mind, and believe me, I will.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, Marie. Don't lower yourself to that. You're a fantastic researcher who's put out some outstanding books, and they flop around on the Travel Channel.
Yeah, but what an opportunity to get on camera and say, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Yeah, but I'm sure
you think that one would make it off the editing room?
Right, right.
It might.
I'm sure a lot of people who show up on the Penn and Teller show feel the same way too, and then they watch it, and they're called fucking idiots and stuff.
I mean, Larry and I, we talk about it all the time, and it's like, well, we really would love to do a show that's very science oriented, but that's not what people want.
Right.
But we have some people now who are looking around for us.
Good.
Pretty high-powered people that finally recognized what we are doing. And, we're going to go out and see if we can find a science show. Like, what's the one? Through the Wormhole or Nova, that kind of thing.
Right.
But a popularized science show, not a paranormal show. And see if we can get you guys on. Now, that, Larry and I would do in a second.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But no. I mean, I think we've separated ourselves from the field by accident and on purpose. And, there's, it's probably a very beneficial thing for us. And it really, really bothers me when, like what Larry was talking about earlier, people who say that they are scientific, they don't even know the laws of thermodynamics. They don't know how energy and matter behave. They don't know anything about quantum physics. They don't know anything about theoretical physics. They don't know anything about seismology. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Hey, Marie, if you can see me right now, let me just pretend for a minute that I'm one of those people. Now, imagine me just staring off into blank space, right?
Larry, we're going to get in so much trouble.
Yeah, this one's going to be burning the wires when it goes out there. But you know what? So hey, who cares?
Burned our bridges.
Exactly. So I'd be happy to have a ghost hunter on to refudiate this if the guy from the Ghost Paranormal Channel.
Here's the deal. Marie and I both would love nothing better than things to change. If nothing else, maybe blasting some of the crap that goes on in the community, maybe it's a wake-up call for some of these people. And, by God, maybe we're going to get some of these people pissed off enough that they're going to want to make some changes. And that they're going to say, you know what, those two were right. And shit, maybe I should try doing something different. And then maybe, that'll start a revolution, and maybe the whole paranormal field will change, and people will start playing Kumbaya. Maybe things will really start to happen.
Kumbaya. Well, it's better than the Jonas Brothers reference from the last time you were on.
And the cool thing will be, really, or Justin Bieber. The cool thing will be is that the people that do not want to think will fall by the wayside, because I really think that there's two different groups of people operating here.
Right.
The ones that just want to have fun, and the ones that actually think about what they're doing and have some kind of long-term goal that they're trying to reach.
There are so many wannabes out there in the field. I mean, it's in a way I'm sort of sad for these people. I mean, that they really want to contribute. They really want to do something. They want to be a contributing member of the paranormal community, but they're so damn caught up in all the drama and bullshit and petty crap that goes on that they can't do anything. I mean, it's
break
very
out of
unfortunate.
it, yeah.
No, they can't. And you get it. It's this nasty, never-ending cycle, and you get stuck in it, and these people just, they just waste away, and it's really sad. I mean, you've seen there's some good groups that have gone by the wayside because of that type of drama and because of that type of BS dynamic.
Yeah. Or because they weren't flashy enough, right? They were all normal-looking people doing hard work, really trying to think about what they were doing, but they didn't have big boobs. The guys weren't all hot, looking like movie star actors, or they didn't have grills, so they didn't get the attention. Yeah. They're out there operating invisibly and anonymously.
But you know what? Who gives a shit? Why do you need the attention? Well, if you really are interested in finding, here's my deal. I could give a shit about the attention. I mean, yeah, it's great, but really, I did this before I got you and me, before the two of us were famous. I would do this after. The deal for me is I want to know what the hell happens when you die. Do we get a second chance? What is it that these experiences people have had for hundreds, if not thousands of years? How do you explain those things? That's what I care about.
Right.
I care less about other things. And, there's got to be other people like you and me.
Well, there are. But you know what, Larry? As writers, the cool thing about it is you put your work out there to get known. You don't have to be famous. It's the work that we are putting out there that we want to become known. If they know who we are, hey, great, fine. But
sure,
it's not necessary for the writers to become huge celebrities. I want my work to speak for me.
Exactly.
10, 20 years from now, or long after I'm dead, I want to know that some of the ideas and theories that I came up with, or me and Larry, that somebody took those and expanded on them and found, something, some eureka came out of that.
Yeah.
Just because we put that work out there.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's important to me. And I think as writers, that's what we get to do that other people don't have the same luxury. We get to put stuff out there and it stays out there and it starts to percolate ideas in other people's minds and it inspires. I know that, my book Science, I cannot tell you how many people still email and say, oh my God, your book led me in a whole different direction. And now the stuff that Larry and I are doing, the resonance scan, never thought about resonance or sound. And, now my group is thinking about doing these experiments. And I mean, that is cool to know that the work that you did hit somebody over the head and made a difference.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't care if they know who I am. I love anonymity. You have so much more power when nobody knows who you are.
I'll agree with that for sure, yeah.
Totally. Anonymity is power.
I hope that it extends way beyond just the ghost hunting community. We've written 4 books together. We're about to wrap. Well, I wouldn't say wrap up.
Absolutely, it does, Larry. We've
got another book on time travel that's coming out. I mean, if nothing else, I hope our zest and our zeal for knowledge and some of the ideas, some of the concepts, some of the conceptual framework around our second book, for instance, things like that some of those ideas will actually get out there, like you said, start percolating, start filtering down to all the different other things. I mean, I think there's concepts in the resonance key that could apply to ufology. There's concepts in the deja vu enigma that could apply to ghost hunting. 1111, there's concepts in there that apply to Egyptology. They apply to sacred structures. I mean, pretty much, anything that's unknown. The Trinity Secret, the same thing. I mean, we have given people little nuggets of information in all these books that I think could be applied across the spectrum of the unknown.
And the Trinity Secret, the Trinity Secret has really opened up the metaphysical, the consciousness field. A lot of the shows that I do that Larry can't be on because they're during the day, and I always try to tell him, you wouldn't believe how the radio hosts just went nuts over the stuff that we're doing. And it's like, wow. We didn't even realize we were having that kind of impact. So those people will then take something we might have mentioned. And we're not saying we have all the answers, but it's really cool to think you instigate somebody else maybe going out and finding out.
Right, you plant the seeds.
Yeah. It's really cool. And I think that comes from our passion and our enthusiasm and our love of what we're doing.
Well, not only that, I think our reputations as well. I mean, we both have phenomenal reputations within the field as far as our knowledge and our ability to take those complex
I don't know after this show.
Yeah, I don't know, Larry.
No.
I've only alienated one group this show. That's all. So.
Who is that? The Walmart shoppers? Oh, this episode. You mean?
Oh my God, yeah. No, that's okay. I think we've kind of gone beyond the we need to impress everybody thing a long time ago.
Hey, at least people can respect the honesty. On here sort of like tiptoeing around the stuff that gets on your nerves. Now, I kept messing this up. It's the Trinity Secret. I couldn't read. I have the book here in my hands. I couldn't see the word secret, so it's Trinity.
It's like yelling at the publisher because
Secret.
Everybody, the Trinity. No, don't you see the word secret?
Yeah, they got it. Yeah.
It was kind of, it was a little.
So, yeah,
subtle.
the Trinity Secret. So, folks, now what is going on here with 19 Hertz, the movie? You guys have written a movie. What's that all about?
Well, I've been working for a long time with this producer-director, Bruce Lucas, and he read our books, he loves our books, and he asked us to see if we could come up with an idea based on, he kind of left it up to us. So we thought about doing something with resonance key because we're really fascinated by the idea that sound, resonance, vibration may affect reality. So we developed this script, and he optioned it. It is now in development. As of, I believe, last week, I think I updated Larry. We have an entertainment lawyer and a casting director. And
nice.
We're having a second budget done. It's going to be a low budget. They're looking for universities in the Northeast area for a setting because some of it takes place on it all takes place on a college campus. But for the exterior shots, we're looking for an actual university, and it probably will be in the Long Island area because Bruce has somebody from the Film Commission looking for that. So, yeah, it's going slow, but it's definitely moving.
And you guys wrote this movie?
We wrote it. Larry's first time writing a script. We had so much fun.
Yep.
And the idea is that if this gets made, there will be a sequel, and we may even do other things, other movies.
Yeah.
Paranormal oriented.
What's the matter, Larry? You sound like you're not.
No, I'm just still frustrated that they cut the lesbian love scene out.
Oh, God.
That's why I asked if Larry wrote the movie. Yeah, I figured that there had to be. That's probably what's taking so long. It's hard to find. It's like Human Centipede to find people willing to do that.
Pages. I mean, come on, dude.
Well, come on. I mean,
if it doesn't move the story forward.
Well, I'll give you credit too, because like you're saying earlier that you have grills and all this, and people would love you then and all that, and it's like in a way the move to make the 19 Hertz as the movie, like you guys could have done 11/11 the movie, got Jim Carrey in it, and would have could have sat around forever and relaxed because people would go gaga over just 11/11. So it's like you went down the difficult road and
well, he was too busy doing a movie about penguins.
Penguins, yeah. Well, I mean, I come from a fiction and film background, so I'm kind of going back to my origins here. But also, it's just the idea that we can reach more people by going off in this route too. While we're doing the nonfiction books and everything. Yeah. Because, film, TV, whatever, it's another way of educating people, even if it's under the guise of storytelling. In fact, I think it's much more impactful.
Yeah, and plus it's like, the greatest form of advertising for the book. I mean, more people are going to see the movie than read the book, then go get the book afterwards, hopefully.
Exactly. We have concepts in that script that are based on some of the real research we did in the resonance key. And that is the most fun part, to take some real stuff that you're doing and fictionalize it. It's like, oh, this is so cool.
Cameos in the movie? You guys going to have some?
Oh, hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm trying to insert myself in the lesbian love scene, but...
Then it wouldn't be lesbian. Duh.
But maybe I'll be like watching through a window or something.
Oh, there you go. I don't know how much that has to do with the plot, but yeah, it could be workable.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just to see, now I'm just imagining Larry like peering through the window and
yeah, like a psychopath.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of creepy, Tim. I don't know.
Like that Alien video that came out a few years ago.
Right.
Just insert a lesbian love scene in the foreground.
There you go.
Oh, man. All right. So that's sort of like, as with all movies, they take a while. People don't realize that.
Oh, God. Well, especially if you're doing it independent. If you're not trying to go to a big studio, people do not realize how much work, how much patience, how much time goes into it.
Right.
If you make that sale, you're in. And like Bruce is always telling me, because we have a bunch of projects that we're trying to set up. And it's like just one. All you need is one, and then boom, boom, boom. They want to know what else you have. What else you have?
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I mean, we want to do a little bit of everything, but we want it to be tactful and good, except for the sex scenes. But
well, what is the? Can you tell me a little more about the plot of the film, if you can? At least just sort of what's the pitch? What's the thumbnail here on the?
Well, the log line is the frequency of fear.
Ooh.
And all we can say,
okay.
Oh God, Larry, help me out here, is it's about a...
if I was like going through the cable guide and it had like the 2 sentences in it, what would it say, A young temptress?
Let's see.
Gosh, it's kind of a cross between... Did you ever see the TV series many, many, many years ago called Sliders?
Yeah, where they like jump dimensions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of... It has some elements of Sliders in there. There's some elements of time travel. There's some elements of ghostly stuff. It's kind of a lot of different types of fictional genres put together in a way that really is very, really organic. It just really works the way we have it written. Think of all the best parts of some of the different movies that are out there, and then just imagine this.
Yeah, if we had to give it like one plot line, it would be a college professor comes up with an experiment utilizing sound and resonance that allows him to open a rip in the space-time continuum.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And all the things that leads to. But again, we really tried to have, like, the equipment that he's using. We tried to base it on some of the things that we know about 19 hertz and infrasound but all set to a really cool story that takes place with they're college kids. I mean, come on,
Sounds
college
great.
Audience, so.
Wow. Larry, yeah. I'm excited.
And lesbians, too.
I know, yeah. See, that's why yeah. Well, I'm just imagining the influences that Larry might have, some sort of strange, I was waiting for him to say it's like part Sliders, part Alf or something.
Part Alf.
Alf, yeah. There you go.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, there you go.
It's like a darker version of Alf. Oh, man. So that's cool. Now, as I joked earlier, you have a lot of stuff going on. I noticed here, like I'm looking at paraexplorers.com, and it teases like 3 books coming up, and you already mentioned here something about time travel, too. So what is this? He says Ghost Spirits and Haunt. Yeah, what is this?
Those are, our publisher did 3, 2 of them are out, one's coming out in August. They're anthologies featuring some of the top writers in their field. One is about ghosts and hauntings, the other is about UFOs, and the third one is about lost civilizations. So people like Nick Redfern and Stanton Friedman and, just different, Larry, who was the really big one for the lost civilization? Eric von Däniken.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we were all asked to write one chapter.
Oh, that's cool.
Book. So each book will have like 12 different chapters written by different people, so you get a real taste of all kinds of different theories and ideas.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like a poo-poo platter.
There you go, poo-poo platter.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of poo-poo, did you see that article about the Japanese making steak out of poop?
No.
Did you did, Larry, I sent you that, didn't I?
Yeah, it was horrible.
My goodness.
But it's true. Yeah, they want to make meat products out of human feces.
Don't they have enough problems over there now that
they do.
Eating feces is not really,
I guess,
shouldn't be on the agenda?
Cattle have all been irradiated, so they've got to come up. Oh, God, that's terrible.
My God. Well,
Anyway, I just had to throw that in because I knew you'd appreciate it.
I don't know what that says about what you think of me, but... Now, what is this? You say you're working on a time travel book. I'm excited about this because I love your books. We know that. I've said that a million times. But they're very cerebral in the sense that, you really have to work to understand this in a sense because it's so deep. It's so rich. It goes so far down the rabbit hole that it's an adventure. And it's on some of these topics, that there's probably a turn of phrase that I can't think of off the top of my head. But, little things in life. Number 3, 1111, numbers, deja vu. But with this time travel thing, this is like this is crazy. Yeah, this is like a big weird dog.
Crazy. Well, actually, the publisher asked us if we would be interested in doing a book on the past, present, and future of time travel from a very scientific standpoint. Because there hasn't been one definitive book.
Yeah.
In other words, there have been books like Michio Kaku has books where he has a chapter on time travel, Fred Allen Wolf, whatever. But I was complaining to Larry today. I mean, I'm going nuts. This is hard physics. And, you know, it's getting into such theoretical stuff that our job is to try to figure out a way to take that stuff that's hurting our heads.
Right.
And make it so that the average reader can figure out what's going on. And this is probably, for me, maybe not Larry, the toughest one I've ever written.
What do you say, Larry?
You know, I don't know. Maybe the toughest as far as from the research perspective, but as far as interesting and personal interest.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about research. Yeah.
Definitely ranks up there for me.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun and exciting, but oh, Lord.
Yeah, the research. I mean, there is a lot of there's a lot of complex quantum physics stuff that you know we're having to deal with and try to make it into simple to understand.
Yeah, you know, we have to understand it. So then the readers. But what I'm working on now is like a timeline of the change from, you know, classical Newtonian physics to quantum physics and where time travel fit in.
Yeah.
And it's like every time I find something, I find 10 more things, and it's like, oh my God, now I got to make sure I get those in, you know. And Larry's going to have the same problem. We each will take like a couple of chapters, and then we'll trade off, and so each person gets to contribute to each chapter. But wow,
interesting. All right, now do you look at any? Now I'm a moron. I mean, this has been established over 6 years on the program. So what have you? Do you look at any? I'm going to take it down the route of the audience of Larry's lecture there down in Atlanta or wherever he was doing the scientific thing.
Oh, where was that, Larry?
Where was that, Larry? Yeah, so we can make sure that anyone who.
Oh, that's right. I know where it was. Yeah,
okay,
you don't want to say.
Yeah. So do you look at any? I'm going to sensationalize this, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Do you look at any, famous time traveler stories?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were actually asked not to go heavy on the pop culture, but you can't talk about what's going on in time travel without getting into that because, I read something today that kind of blew my mind. There was and I don't have the names with me, but a science fiction writer in the 1940s came up with a theory that actually scientists 10 years later started to work on. So we have to incorporate that, plus it's fun.
Yeah.
So,
I also meant, though, like, John Teeter, that whole story.
We're going to go for everything.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have the more fringe, maverick, crazy stuff as well, because it's all, who knows?
Right.
Who's going to come up with the right theory?
Exactly, yeah. Did you see that thing maybe a year ago, about the time traveler in the Charlie Chaplin movie?
Cell phone.
Yeah.
The cell phone lady, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a crock. But it just shows you how popular this is.
Exactly, because that thing went from
viral, baby.
Yeah, it turned into a huge meme and everything. So it was pretty amazing to see that, I think at the end of the day, the mainstream, they really want answers to all this, or like, it titillates them in a way that they don't want to admit that the paranormal does.
Totally agree. Yeah. I mean, there's been some weird conspiracy stuff that goes viral that it's like you have to be a brainless idiot to buy into that, and yet millions of people do. And I really think it's because they have nothing better to do with their lives than buy into something that makes them feel like they're involved in, this big conspiracy.
Well, they know more than you. They are, they're smart and you're dumb. That's the.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot of that during the, as I sort of alluded to, the whole Bin Laden thing. I mean, it's just I don't have time for people to lecture me about being a lemming or a sheep because they listen to Alex Jones 3 times.
Oh yeah,
and they know what's going on and I don't. It's like, listen.
But Tim, you do know that HAARP is responsible for Bin Laden's death. I mean, you do know that, right? I mean, the Illuminati used HAARP to kill Bin Laden. I mean, come on, don't you know?
Well, it goes back to I was on Paratopia talking about this because it happened right after the Bin Laden thing, and I was just like, I had to go on a rant, as Larry said, and it's just like, hey, my attitude about all that after all these years of researching, the Illuminati and the New World Order and everything is that if what everyone's saying is true in the conspiracy community, then we're fucked. So just go, and enjoy your life, because you're never going to overthrow the New World Order. So, stop complaining about it.
God, they've been talking about the New World Order since World War I. I mean, it's ridiculous. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Just live your life, have a blast, have fun.
Yeah, just don't yell at me because I don't, post 35 links to prisonplanet.com on my Facebook page or whatever.
But Tim, come on, if it's on a YouTube, it's real. Come on.
Exactly.
Jeez.
So is there we didn't really give away the whole secret to the Trinity secret, obviously. We want people to get the book, but is there sort of like first of all, it does sort of go down a new agey sort of realm in a way. Did you catch a lot of flack for that? Because I can imagine you might. But no?
No, actually, it went down a real metaphysical, almost self-help angle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Larry. You can speak for yourself, but I've got nothing but high praise from people in the religious community, the metaphysical, because the way that we write, we don't write fluff. We back it up. The Trinity symbol is backed up by thousands of years of evidence or whatever you want to call it. It's not like we are making this crap up.
Right.
And I've actually had a few people in the consciousness field just say, until I read your book, I didn't get the Trinity. I get it now. And it's really sort of an ancient way of looking at the law of attraction, the way that things work via the law of attraction. So it's something new, but it's also very, very ancient.
How about you, Larry? Did you get any flack down there in Arkansas?
No, nothing negative, surprisingly. You would think, being in the Bible Belt, that there'd be all kinds of negative stuff, but no, not at all. And I've actually even spoken about it at several different events here, and no, everything so far has been very, very positive.
Yeah, we were kind of surprised. We thought we might get flack for this one, and we've gotten more flack for 11/11 and the satanic. You talked about numbers.
Right.
Those are evil. Science is evil.
What? Who did that? I'm not going to say specifically, but tell me the story at least.
I've gotten emails. I got death threats when I wrote science from fundamentalist Christians.
Oh my God.
Because I was, propagating the idea that quantum physics could explain reality, and no, only God and Jesus could. Yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, we get. I think 11/11 was probably the only book that we got some crazy crap on.
Weird. What's this? Yeah. How could that? That doesn't even make any sense, because I can't see anything in that book that would really.
Well, we have a chapter where we talk about, it's not our theory, Sir Martin Rees talks about how the entire makeup of the universe can be whittled down to 6 mathematical ratios.
Yeah.
And how there seems to be some kind of intelligence behind that, but certainly not a human intelligence. Ooh, oh boy. You don't want to say stuff like that.
Yeah, well, God, I can't,
Because basically what you're saying is that the universe comes down to math, not some religious miracle, although it could be that as well.
Right. Someone had to come up with the math.
Yeah, but, if the world was only created, 6,000 years ago, then, we're sort of bucking the trend there.
Yeah, well, for some people it's turtles all the way down.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we have that picture in one of our books. The turtle picture.
Oh,
anyway.
Man. So, all right, yeah. So is there I'm trying to avoid, spoiling the book here, but is there sort of any sort of, you say it goes down some self-help, but is there something that people can do to, embrace or utilize the Trinity and, give us a tease of it? We want them to go out and get the book, so.
What do I think the message that people could get out of the Trinity secret from a self-help perspective? I think the biggest thing that they could get out of it probably would be, oh gosh.
I know it's like you don't want to give it all away, but
yeah, I'm trying to think exactly. I'm trying to think how to.
Well, okay, I'll say something.
Okay.
The secret revolves around the fact that we are creators. That our reality is our responsibility, and quantum physics backs it up. But what we've done is we've given our power and our responsibility away to everything and everyone, every institution, other people. What we're trying to do is get people to realize that this idea that we are creating our own reality as we go along, and a lot of it's related to the observer effect in quantum physics, that this could change your life. If you get that and you go from there and understand how things are created, what is the process? There's 3 parts to it. We are embedded in that 3-part process. And again, kind of really, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, without giving it away, it's kind of the next step, I guess you would say, in the secret. For those people who have kind of read The Secret, it's kind of the next step.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, I tiptoed around this, but we want to just sort of give people a taste, so they're not just like, you had them on talk about Trinity's secret, and what's the secret?
You know what?
Exactly.
I think people know in some sense. They just don't want to admit how much power they have in their own lives and how they are responsible for all the crap, all the good stuff. I mean, our reality mirrors what we believe and what we think and what we intend.
Exactly.
If that's the case, the only way to change that is to change all of that stuff on the inside.
Yeah.
And there's a science to it, and that's what we wanted to do, is bring the two, the metaphysical angle and the scientific angle and bring them together.
Nice. We'll head to the end here because things are going on, so I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you guys will be back again and again and again, so I'm not too worried.
And again, absolutely.
And again.
Exactly, and I'm going to play gas station attendant number 2 in the film, I hope.
Oh, you can be one of the college students. How about that? We'll give you like a total talking,
I'll get a line in the movie?
Yeah.
And do you want me to work it so you're looking through the other window in the lesbian show?
That would be great. And then you and I see each other looking in the opposite windows and scare each other and run off.
You're right.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a little
the 2
awkward.
Stooges.
Oh my God! All right, well, we danced around it enough, and folks should check it out to find out more about the secret behind the Trinity Secret. And as we said, you can get it at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and brick and mortar bookstores. So
if there's any left, geez.
Exactly, yeah. So go out and pick that up. And what's the due date on the time travel book?
I think it'll be out the beginning of 2012. We're working on it now, so.
Any reissue of the 2013 book? I think we need to get that back in people's hands.
No, really. It's still selling like crazy. So, no, I mean, my book is one of the only ones that's turning out to be true. So, no, it's still selling like crazy.
Nice. And how about upcoming events? Now, bear in mind this will be posted sometime in July. So anything coming up in the fall or late summer that we should know about?
We're going to be together again in Taos for the ASPE Paranormal Symposium in Taos, New Mexico. That's the end of October. And then, Larry, are you going to Dragon Con?
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be at Dragon Con.
Nice. They don't have any real dragons there, Larry, I've been told, so.
They get pretty close.
Oh, really? Do they?
Some of the pictures I saw.
I've heard about this Dragon Con. Is it like...
It's like Comic-Con, but it's for the South area.
And they have some good... Rosemary Ongaili goes there, too, I think, right?
They had a paranormal track, but you're gonna do the writing track, right?
Yeah, I'm
Which will be really
on the writing.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So Larry will be at Dragon Con.
I'm going to Comic-Con next year. I'll be there next year. Well, hopefully I can drag Larry out, too. But, yeah, those are great because you really get to reach a whole different audience.
Now, when you go to Comic-Con, have you been to Comic-Con before?
Oh, yeah.
Do you get, like, a table, or you just hang around and walk around?
Well, I will next year. I went with my son last year just as, part of the insanity, and it was unreal.
Interesting.
It was unbelievable.
Nice, yeah. I've never been there. It sounds cool, though. And you're right in San Diego, so it's like stone's throw from you.
I think this year they sold 125,000 tickets.
Wow.
Damn.
It's just unbelievable. Yeah.
We got to go, Larry.
Yeah, hell yeah.
If we're represented next year with a table, he's coming.
Yeah, I'll make a trip out there.
Yeah, we might even have like a booth for 19 Hertz.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
Nice. All right, sounds good. And, of course, people can find out more from you guys at paraexplorers.com. The conversation started out on one note and sort of just went down the road here with Larry and Marie, and that's what I was really looking forward to all day today as I was getting ready to do this interview.
That.
And, yeah, we were tough on some people and some groups and some genres out there, but, it's nothing they haven't heard before, and it's nothing they don't need to hear.
Exactly.
So... and if people want to rebut, fire away. Happy to hear from you.
Yep, there you go.
And on that note, once again, thank you guys for coming back on the show. Obviously, we're going to do it again sometime. There's absolutely no concern on my end regarding that, and I can't wait to do that. Yeah. And, have a great rest of your summer, and we'll be in touch.
You too, and if you come to San Diego, let me know.
Absolutely. We'll hang out and have some beers and, prank phone call Larry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be cool.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, you guys take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That does it for this installment of BOA Audio Season 6. Big thanks to my good buddies Marie Jones and Larry Flaxman for coming back on the show and for being so candid during that conversation. You can find out more from them at the website, www.paraexplorers.com. And, of course, you want to be sure to check out their books, 1111 The Time Prompt Phenomenon, The Deja Vu Enigma, The Resonance Key, and the latest tome from the Para Explorers, The Trinity Secret. Check them out. Moving right along now, it's time for BOA Audio listener feedback. But since we are very late with this edition of the program, we're going to skip listener feedback this time around because I want to get the episode out to you as soon as possible. I will say, though, that we got a ton of interesting feedback regarding the Larry E. Arnold episode of BOA Audio that we recently posted, which covered, of course, spontaneous human combustion. Seemed like a lot of folks took umbrage with Larry's style of referring to himself as we or us, and I thought that was kind of interesting. A lot of folks sort of felt the need to dismiss Larry as a result of the way he talked, and others seemed to think that it was some kind of affectation on the part of Larry that he was purposely doing. I'm of the opinion that it was really just something that he has been doing quite a long time, and he wasn't consciously trying to refer to himself in the first person plural. I have a feeling that we're going to be talking to Larry Arnold again sometime in the future, and there's a very, very good chance that we will explore this whole enigma more when we get him on the show again, because it seemed to really resonate with a lot of listeners. A lot of people pointed it out. It seemed to be the biggest thing that they talked about, which is disappointing, I think, in a way, because really I found the whole SpawnCom discussion to be tremendous and fascinating. But that's really my take on the whole thing. I don't think Larry was doing it on purpose. I just think that's the way he talks. And it was very interesting. Caught me by surprise. I didn't know this going into the interview. So as I was talking to him, I was completely blown away by it. And that's why we addressed it right away at the beginning of the show. Nonetheless, that's the gist here of BOA Audio listener feedback this week. I also got an email from someone asking where William Zabel is. Once again, I just get emails all the time from people asking about William Zabel. We don't know where William Zabel is. He has not responded to my emails and phone calls now for many years. I would like to get a hold of him. Believe me, if I could, he would be on the program immediately. But as of right now, I know absolutely nothing about the location and whereabouts of William Zabel. He could be dead for all I know. I have no idea where he is or what's going on. But I will try to get a hold of him once again. I try every few months, and I don't hear back from him. But I'll give it another try in a few weeks or months and report back to you if anything interesting comes from that. In the interim, if you want to get in touch with me here for BOA Audio listener feedback, or you just want to shoot me a line to correspond, you can write to me at boaaudio@hotmail.com or go to binallofamerica.com, BINNALL of America.com, and click the contact button. And, of course, the final method is to join up at the official BOA forum, theUSofE.com, THEUSOFE.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. Just punch in Binnall, BINNALL, into the search engine, and I will pop up right away. Follow me, befriend me, poke me. It's all good, and we'd love to have you as part of BOA's online circle of friends. Up next, allow me to offer thanks to the outstanding and esteemed BOA staff: Leslie, Chiron, Regan Lee, Joe V, Tina Senna, Rochelle Hawks, Richard Thomas, Marla Pena, Bruce Pretty, Tony Morrill, our contributing cartoonist Andy Carolyn, and our webmaster Jeremy Boston. Lots of good stuff up at the BOA website via the amazing BOA staff. Be sure to check it out. We say it all the time here at the end of the program, and it is true, my friends. If you're only listening to BOA audio and you're not reading the columns at Binnall of America, then you're only getting half the story. BOA, make it a part of your everyday search for esoteric news and opinion. Now comes the time of the program where I take my hat off and pass it around to the audience and ask you to make a donation to Binnall of America and BOA Audio. I know now more than ever times are very tough and very unsettling with the economy the way it is. But I know a lot of folks out there have some disposable income as well, and hopefully they can chip in a little bit and help us pay the bills here at Binnall of America. How do you do that? That's simple. You just go to binnallofamerica.com and click the PayPal button. They'll walk you through the process. It's simple, it's safe, and it is secure. But maybe you don't trust those folks at PayPal. Maybe you don't trust the internet in general. Who blames you? I don't. I don't trust the internet, and I'm a big part of it myself. So how can you make a donation if you don't trust the internet? Well, that's easy. We made it easy for you because we got ourselves a P.O. Box. Here is the address for that. Tim Binnall, P.O. Box 232, Pinehurst, Mass. 01866. And you spell Pinehurst, Pinehurst. So altogether once more, it is Tim Binnall, P.O. Box 232, Pinehurst, Mass. 01866. And if you send us a donation, please make your donation payable to Tim Binnall and not Binnall of America, because my bank is anal and they will not cash those checks. And if you're going to shoot me a line, please include your email address so I can get in touch with you. And thank you for your donation or your correspondence. As always, my friends, no donation is too small, and all donations go towards Binnall of America and BOA Audio to help keep the entire franchise up and running, freely available, and commercial-free for all of our great readers and listeners the world over. Next week on the program, we have a very enlightening conversation lined up for you. I literally just got off the phone taping this interview just now. Our guest is going to be Kathleen Marden. She is the niece of Betty and Barney Hill, and we're going to be talking all about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, which is coming up on its 50th anniversary later on in September, and is a big, big focal point of the upcoming Exeter UFO Festival in Exeter, New Hampshire. Since Kathleen is an integral part of the big Exeter UFO Festival, and this interview serves a dual purpose to not only inform people about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case, but also to help promote the big event, we will almost certainly have the episode out for you or by around this time next week. In short, we're going to be hearing all about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case. Kathleen was right there on the front lines throughout it. She was really so amazingly close to this case. It's unbelievable. Now, obviously, I haven't sat down to edit the episode. I literally just got off the phone taping the show. But I can tell you also that it was one of the strangest interviews that I've ever done, because this one was plagued by telephone technical difficulties. And I'm somebody that spends a lot of time on the telephone, never run into these kind of issues. But here on the phone with Kathleen Marden, we were just plagued by technical problems. And strangely enough, they seem to come up during the more controversial aspects of the Betty and Barney Hill case. So I don't know, make of that what you will. I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to include in the show, because I don't think you want to hear dead air for a minute while I'm trying to figure out what happened to the phone line. But we'll work a way around it to make sure people understand just how strange all this was. So that's next week on Binnall of America Audio. Kathleen Marden talking about the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case. Stay tuned to BOA for that. As I said, hoping to get it to you by August 30th or 31st at the very, very latest. And on that note, we close the book on this edition of BOA Audio. Thanks once again to Marie Jones and Larry Flaxman for coming back on the show. And, of course, big thanks to all you folks out there, the hardcore BOA Audio listeners, the folks who stick around all the way to the end, the folks who anxiously await each new episode, no matter how long it takes us to get it posted. I thank you humbly for your support of this program and the BOA franchise as a whole. Stay tuned. We've got tons of awesome stuff lined up for you in the weeks and months to come, and some big, big plans for 2012 that I cannot discuss yet, but will blow your mind. And all that is, of course, thanks to the hardcore BOA audio listeners and the BOA audio listeners in general, who have been so vehement in their support of the program. You guys are the best. You are the fuel that drives the BOA mothership. Thank you for making BOA audio a part of your esoteric audio playlist. Until next time, this is Tim Binnall, thanking you for listening and signing off.